when there ends up being more of an internal rotation than extension, we get into a little bit more of a problem. Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be talking about how to reduce knee pain when you're sprinting, and we're going to start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so we have a couple different athletes here, and the main thing that we're going to be talking about is really how you're pushing off when you're sprinting that could be causing some additional knee pain. And this is really going to go more into the start. We have athlete on the right, really a great start overall. Does a lot of things really well, has some things he could still improve. And then we have athlete that is going through a little bit more knee pain. And what I don't know if I go a lot into this, but I started off with more of a background in physical therapy and injury prevention, and just really didn't love that side of things. Just had to deal with a lot more just like, I guess, older clientele that wasn't into like the high performance side of things and was much more into a lot of the basics. And, you know, I really want to be doing high performance stuff. Obviously, that's why I do all these breakdowns and have all this information to be able to help guys that are really playing at a really high level to be able to accelerate to a even higher and greater level. And so the point I'm saying that is because I do have a lot of information about how to reduce injuries or how to make it so you can get yourself out of pain as well, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And so what we see here, and we'll just go into this step here. So it's going to be the first step when the athlete's hitting the ground, and it's going to go a lot into the push off. And so when we see this athlete here and how he's like pushing off in the action, right, we could see a lot of like internal rotation right there. And so what we'd want to be seeing is we want to be seeing a lot of extension out of the leg, right? So you can see here on the left, and this is the better way to be able to do it, we are getting internal rotation. It's not that internal rotation doesn't happen within that hip, and that internal rotation action is when, you know, that femur is turning inwards, right? This is the femur bone, is that big hip bone, and it's turning inwards, right? And so we see that that is a natural action that's occurring, and that's part of extension, right? Extension of the hip is when that foot is getting back behind the pelvis or that hip bone, right? So we're getting into extension, but when there ends up being more of an internal rotation than extension, we get into a little bit more of a problem, right? And we're talking about extension of the hip, right? There's a lot of people that go into talking about that knee extension. And while at the beginning I do like to see more knee extension, I don't really coach a lot of it out. We do see when it gets to top speed that getting full extension within the knee is not super necessary. But at the beginning, you can have extension in the knee, right? But what is really important is we got to be able to have extension within the hip. And you can see as, you know, he's coming around, he's kind of coming around to the side a little bit here. And this is pretty natural. I think he might be doing it a little bit excessive here, right? But we do want to be able to get that knee straight through. So one of the things with him, he's a little bit tight within those hips. So, you know, we like to see that knee drive coming a little bit more straight through instead of off to the side, right? Where I'd almost say that athlete here on the right is a little bit better with the leg drive here. But as he's hitting the ground, see how he's turning out so much as he's hitting the ground, so he's not extending the hip at foot contact, right? And then as he's pushing off, again, way too much internal rotation, which is putting a ton of pressure on that inside part of the knee, which is where he's having issues right now, some like tendonitis and things that are inflaming there. And what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to pull back. See how he's getting more of a pullback right here as he's landing. So now he's landing with a lot more of those momentum going forward, which assists him in being able to get straight extension, a little bit of adduction where that leg's coming inwards, but it's more of that action, then you're getting internal rotation. The reason I say it's more adduction and extension is because the foot isn't going way outside of the knee, right? Where we could see here, as he's pushing off, it goes from the knee being way outside of the foot to then reversing, right? That's what causes that internal rotation right there. Where here, it's a lot more aligned overall, right? We could even do an angle here. We could see, you know, he's more at a 90, right? He's more at a 78, okay? And then
boom, pushes off to now being at like 100. That might not be a great, yeah, maybe around 100. Okay, and then we can see here, yeah, so he's about 100 as well, right? So there ends up being about a displacement of 113 degrees here, and what is this? 32, 33 degrees here. No, that wasn't great math there. 23 degrees here, right? So almost double the amount of displacement from one side to the other. And that over a period of time will really end up causing a lot more issues. And you can even see he's not getting as good of extension, right? So he's not getting as much distance per step. So even though this athlete is significantly shorter, like 4 or 5 inches shorter, he's still able to pick up a lot more distance overall. So yeah, that was a quick tutorial of how to be able to resist knee injuries, also how to be able to improve your start. We're going to get a little bit into that as well. But if you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out a ton. And if you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. We have a ton of different options in terms of programs. Also, go ahead and check those out in the description. We have some great things for breakdowns of programs and stuff like that. I'm really trying to push more people to get into programs because, you know, we go like 4 weeks, 12 weeks, because if you commit to it, you're going to get a lot better. Right? I know there's a lot of people that are getting into kind of the end of the season. There's some people that are just starting their season. Point is, if we could really commit to something here, it'll make a big difference when it comes to being able to see the results. So I really hope that you decide to invest in yourself. It's all money back guarantee. And if you could really commit to it and send in the video and do the exercises and do the work, you're going to get the result. But the main thing is you got to do the work. Right? There's going to be improvements that need to be made within your mechanics, and if you can commit to actually making those improvements, you're going to see some great results. So yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those down below. Like, subscribe, all that type of good stuff. We'll talk to you.